Golden Doves, page 185. That's a footnote, but the footnote relates to page 96, which is the main text. And what we were studying is, we were studying the three different levels of study of halacha. So the first level is Girsa, to be fluent in the words of the halacha. So you know the Mishnayot Be'al Peh, you know the Sifra Be'al Peh, etc. The second level of study, which we are yet to do, was Gamir, which means to understand it. In the Girsa level, you become fluent in the words and the composition. In the Gamir level, you understand the meaning of the words. So, for example, when the Rosh Yeshiva would give the lesson in the Yeshiva, the Shema Teta didn't deal with the Garis level. The Garis level, the person had to know it himself, by heart. But the Shema Teta explained the meaning of the halachot. Now, I want to look at the footnote, which is on page 185, footnote 83, because we said that the professional Tana, in order to be considered a Tana, you have to know 4 collections by heart: Hilcheta, which is the Mishnayot, Sifra, Sifre, and Tosefta. So now you look at Masechet, the footnote. It brings Masechet Kiddushin 49b. So that Gemara, yes, a person says, Hareat Mikudeshet li al menat she'ani tanna. So there's 2 things in the Gemara. If a person says, Hareat Mikudeshet li al menat she'ani shoneh. So you say a verb. Shoneh means I'm a person who recites, right? So the Gemara says there, okay, so he has to know Midrash Halacha. But that's a verb. He's not putting himself out as a professional Tana. But if you say, Harayat Mukudeshet V'al Menat Shani Tana, then he has to know the 4 collections, right? So you see, the Gemara Masechet Kiddushin brings the 4 collections as, rather the collection of these 4 books, as a minimum requirement to be considered a Tana. Okay. Then there's also it brings the Gemara Masechet Shabbat, Daf 63a. 63a, that's Perek Bameh Isha Yose'ah. I'm not sure what the Gemara said there that was relevant, but let me see if I can find it. Give me just a moment. Shabbat 63a. I'm using Safaria here, which is an amazing tool, I think. Okay. Okay, let's see. Shene Talmidei Chachamim. I'm not sure why my father quoted this. Of course, there's a reason why he brought this Gemara in the footnote, but it does say, no, that wouldn't be the reason. Okay. We have Shnei Talmidei Chachamim HaMachaddedin Ze Laze B'Halacha, right? So they study halacha together. Mechaddedin, they sharpen each other's knowledge of halacha. Then we have Hanochin Ze Laze B'Halacha. We have Shnei Talmidei Chachamim HaMakshivim Ze Laze B'Halacha. Shnei Talmidei Chachamim HaMadgilim Ze Laze B'Halacha. So here, okay, maybe this is the reason. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure what the purpose of this particular footnote, why it was brought. But here it says, this is a great footnote. This is very important, actually. I don't know if he brought it for this reason, but for me it's important. So at the bottom of the page, 63a, I want to read this to you right now. Right. So the second half of the page is dealing with Shnei Talmidei Chachamim, 2 Talmidei Chachamim who study together, and always a study is around the halacha. So you see there's different levels of halacha. There's makshivim ze lazeh, madgilin ze lazeh. Maybe that's the purpose of this allusion. But what I like here, and this is important, I'm reading now on the bottom of the page. Amar bi Abba, Amar bi Shmuel ben Lakish, Shene Talmidei Chachamim hamadgilim ze laze bahalacha, Hakadosh Baruch Hu ohavan. Right. Shene'emar v'diglo alai ahava. Whatever madgilim means, but put that on the side, milashon degel, that each one, through prodding his friend, causes his friend to become at a higher level, like a degel, right? Okay. Or maybe it means that you're always speaking well about your friend and to others, so that you bring up his name. HaTorah. Hamadgilim ze laze b'halacha. Okay, but here's the point. Amar Abba, v'hu diyadeh surata dishmateta. But they have to know the surata dishmateta. Right? V'hu dalet lev rabba b'matal lemigmal mineh. So the minimum, now I understand why my father brought this. The minimum knowledge, and when my father used to teach us Gemara, the basic knowledge of the Gemara, or the lowest level, was Surata Dishma Teta, right? So that's the minimum you need to know to be a Tamil Chacham. You need to know Surata Dishma Teta, which means the structure. You have to know the words and how they're organized together. That's Surata Dishma Teta. But if there's a Chacham, if there's a Yeshiva, then you also have to go to the second level, which is Gamir. So my father is associating Surata Dishmateta with Girsa, because when you study it by heart, you also see the structure of the composition that you're studying by heart. Right? That's why I brought it. So the Hudia is Surata Dishmateta, which is analogous to the Girsa level. But if you have a rabbi to do Gamir with, then of course you have to do Gamir, right? That was Shabbat 63a. Chagiga 3a, what was it, Chagiga 3a? That was with the Korban Olat Re'iyah. Yes. There was a story there of a Talmid who was Ilem. He couldn't hear, couldn't speak. And still he knew the 4 collections by heart. I think that's what it was. Let's just check. Hagiga 3a. Okay, again, I'm using Safari, which I find to be an excellent tool, personally. Hope I didn't offend anyone by saying that. Today, you don't know who you're going to offend for what reason. Okay, let's see if I can find it, though. It's 3a. It was about Ilem. Yes, it was about Ilem. Okay, yes. I found it here. Okay. So this is again Masechet Hagiga, Daf Gimel Amud Aleph. So the question was a person who's Ilem, a person who can hear but can't speak. Perat lamdaber ve'eno shomea. Right? So it says veha hanu tere illeme dahavu bishvivuteh tirbi. There was 2 people who were mute, they couldn't speak, but apparently they could hear, right? Whatever the Yehus was, it was. And the whole emat tahava ayil rubi leve midrash. And when Rabbeinu HaKadosh would enter the Beit Midrash, and they were there, and they were Talmidei Chachamim, and even though they couldn't speak, havu ayle v'yadvek hamayim. They would sit in front of Rabbeinu HaKadosh because they wanted to study Torah. U'menaydeh bereishayu u'mrachashin sifvotayhu. And they would nod their heads because they couldn't speak. So they'd ask, yes, I understand. And they would try to move their lips, I guess, to try to get out some sound. But of course they couldn't. And then Rabbeinu HaKadosh asked that they be cured. And they were cured. הלכתה וספרה וספרי וכולה תלמודה. And it ended up that they knew they were fluent. Gamir. Gamir is Gamir, not just Girsa, but Gamir. In the halacha, that's right, the Mishnayot, Sifra, Sifre. It says Bechulat Tamudah, it doesn't say Tosefta here. Interesting. Maybe by El Cheta they included Tosefta. Bega Chubega, because they're Gamir, so they know all the Talmud. Very nice. So that's how he brought this reference in Hagiga. All right, continuing now in the footnote. Also see Shavuot 41b. Shavuot 41b. And then Zocher. I have to check. Shavuot 41b. Okay. Masechet Shavuot is a beautiful Masechet. But let's see what this is dealing with. 41b. Aha. So first of all, this is in Perek Shavuat Dayanim. At the end. 41b. Let's see if I can find what the relevance or relevant passages. Let's see. And then you're there. I don't see what's in 41 Shavuot, 41b, that's relevant to our discussion. I'm going to look again. Maneli be'adecha, amalo hen, amalo, okay. It's dealing with the laws of halva'ah. Hilcheta, malvet havelo be'edim, sarich lefar'o be'edim. Right? If the loan is made in the presence of witnesses, when you pay it back, you should pay it back in the presence of witnesses. All right, I don't know. Wait. Maybe I found something. Let me take a look. I may have found the reason. I'm not 100% sure. So, let me read to you the story. One person tells his friend to whom he lent money. So the creditor is speaking to the debtor. He says, when you repay me the loan, make sure to repay me in the presence of two people, but not any two people. I want to be I want to be in the presence of two witnesses. They witness you paying me back. These two witnesses have to be people who they are able to recite halachot. Then when he came back to pay back, the debtor didn't follow the Tanai, right? He paid him back between him and himself. It nisu hanach zuzeh. And what happened is the money that the creditor was paid back somehow got lost, taken away. So Rab Nachman was a dayan, and he said to him, it's true, I received the money, but even though I received the money, I received it as a pikadon, as a deposit. I didn't receive it in payment of the debt, right? Because the tenai wasn't met. So I received the money, but it was a pikadon, it was a bailment, right? I didn't receive it in payment of the money that was owed to me. I was receiving it sort of as a baili, right? Now, since I was an unpaid baili, that's called a shomer chinam. If the money gets robbed, shomer chinam is patur. Because I told him it has to be in the presence of two people who are shonim halacha, and it is not mekayem the tenai. אמר לי, כיוון לכמודד, תוודאי שקלתינו מיני, פירעון מעליה הווה. So he says, no, since you yourself are admitting that you got the money back, that's considered repayment of the loan. You can't come to Bet Din and say that the repayment had to be done in the presence of two. But you yourself said you received the repayment. The purpose of the witnesses is to affirm the repayment of the loan. But if you yourself are affirming the repayment of the loan, then it's done. Right. אמר, כיוון דקמודד תוודאי שקלתינו מיני פירעון על יהווה. אי אמר דקאיו מתנה זיל הייתינו דהה ענה ורב ששת. Okay, now, if you're saying that this is a condition that needs to be fulfilled by your friend who borrowed the money, by the debtor, so be it. So you know what, I have a very good idea. I'm here, says Rav Rahman. Rav Sheshat is here, right? We're two witnesses, and both of us studied Hilcheta, Sifra, Sifra, Tosefta, Vechula, Gemara. So here you see Hilcheta, Sifra, Sifra, Tosefta, and Chula, Gemara. In the previous Gemara that we quoted in Hagigah, it was, what was it? Oh yeah, it was Hilcheta, Sifra, Sifra, and Kula Gemara. It wasn't Tosefta. Here it's also Tosefta. Okay, so very interesting to see the comparison. Okay, so that's why we have those different Gemariot. There were different opinions concerning what some of the collections contained. For example, the Gaonic text, which is corrupt, published by Chaim Horowitz, Toratan Shel Rishonim, includes Torat Kohanim with the Tosefta. Interesting. So in one of the manuscripts, you have Torat Kohanim included in Tosefta. In the fourth collection, under the title Sifre, it includes 4 rabbinic midrashim: Bereshit Rabbah, Mechilta, Sifrean Bamidbar, and Sifrean Devarim. So you see that there were some different versions as to what these 4 collections are, right? What is meant by Tosefta? What is meant by Sifre? Well, they're interesting. Midrash Rabbah is at one of the highest levels. It's the highest level of all the midrashim. It's actually, according to this, it's included in the 4th collection. Okay. We're going to stop here.